So you've decided you're on a journey and you want to experience the most, huh? I can dig it. Why don't you come down this road? It's not too much traffic, lots of peace and serenity. You know, the road less traveled. I am Dolo, your friendly spiritual assistant. I'm here to help, and I'm glad you're here. Here on the road less traveled, there's a lot of self-reflection, self-development, and lots of love always. Warning, there are no shortcuts on this road. But if you stick with it, you're guaranteed to get where you need to be, where you want to be. Hello and welcome back to The Road Less Traveled. I am so glad to be back sharing my experiences and my learnings with you all. I'm glad you're here. If this is your first time, welcome. This is the relaunch to a channel that I'd already started quite some time ago. I wasn't giving it my all. I'm still learning what it is that I want to share exactly. But I know that whatever I want to share, there's someone who wants to learn it. So, I am Dolo, your friendly neighborhood spiritual assistant. What is a spiritual assistant, you ask? I am someone who's here to help keep you motivated, help you stay on track with goals that you have set for yourself. We all are on a journey, and no matter how you word your journey, whether you are experiencing this life experience, experiencing this world, this physical world, or whether you are just growing, advancing, expanding, becoming. We're all becoming, but only some of us acknowledge it. And so if you're someone who's wondering what this world is all about, why you're here, what you want to get out of it, this is the place for you. I like to delve into universal law and try to find out what this is all about for the most part. And I've learned a lot over the years. In the beginning, I wasn't really sure where I was going with it, but now I'm much more on track. So at this point, I've learned that when it comes to self-development, you can focus on whatever realm this world has to offer that makes you feel better. I personally don't believe there's a right or a wrong way to do this. You're just living by universal law. So here on this channel, I'm just going to give you an overview of the topic that we'll be discussing, and then I have a Patreon linked below where you can go and find out more details. We can kick back a little more, let loose, and spend more time with your spiritual assistant. So today's topic is, what is manifestation? I'm not going to take it all the way back to the beginning and give you step by step, because I have gone over this in past videos, but also because I'm going to assume at this point you know a little bit about it, and that's why you're here to find out a little bit more about it. I got you. Manifest, as described by the Oxford language, is clear or obvious to the mind, a display or a show by one's acts or appearance. To demonstrate, it is the next step of formation in what you want. So we manifest things into the physical with our thoughts, and we do it whether we know we're doing it or not. So we're all manifesting, whether you realize you are, whether you accept that you are, or whether you don't. We're all manifesting. You think of something you want and you continue to think of it. Gradually it becomes a belief. You believe it because you're always thinking of it that way. And if you wake up every day and you recycle those same thoughts, you're going to keep getting the same experiences because that's what you're believing. You are manifesting your belief. So believe in positive, happy things and you'll manifest positive, happy things. Believe in negative, unhappy things and you'll manifest negative, unhappy things. Been there. I done that. But now, since I know that I'm manifesting and I know exactly what to do to keep my personal vibration in alignment with where I want to be and what I want to pull into my life, I try to live consciously. And that's what this comes down to. Self-development, living consciously, living on purpose, living intentionally, living with a plan, setting goals, following through. Again, it can be worded any way you want to put it. However, I specialize in translating universal law and spiritual well-being. That being said, we're going to refer to it as manifesting. Throughout the videos, you'll hear me reference a lot of where I got my teachings from, people whose books I've read, or audiobooks I've listened to, or I've experienced their word, not only in my life, but I've observed it in other people's lives. And it's come across through synchronicities, which is a whole nother episode we'll get into. But today, we're simply talking about the art of manifesting. And trying to master it. Now, what I've learned about this world is that, and this was the most profound thing because I didn't realize it, and I think it was one of my aha moments once I did realize what was being said, that our life experience here in this physical world is not linear, that the timelines we make up for ourselves in a societal stance about what's coming next and where you should be by a certain age, it's not genuinely what this universe is supporting. The universe does not support the time frames that we put on, but instead it unfolds, and sometimes it refolds, and sometimes it unfolds, and it's just unpredictable, it's unlimited, and this is a huge universe. That's my favorite part about it. The opportunities are literally endless. The opportunities are literally endless. That being said, I'm a powerful being. You are a powerful being. Why don't we get into it? You'll hear me reference individuals like Abraham, Esther, Jerry Hicks, Neville Goddard, yes, Alan Watts, Nathaniel Branden, who wrote The Art of Living Consciously, Bob Proctor, Earl Nightingale, Dr. Joe Dispenza, I love that guy, Queen Afua, Plato, Socrates, Oscar Wilde, he's kind of a funny dude. Lots of knowledge from what I can tell, but very funny dude. My only goal here is to spread the word. I feel like a lot of these things I had heard about throughout my whole life, vision boards, which are just collages. I was doing collages in school and I was a master at it because I'm a master at imagination. So some of the things that I'm picking up now and comprehending as a whole are things that I actually knew all along, I was told all along. But as far as implementing the gems that you pick up along the way, the little pieces of advice that you're not sure if you should take or not, or the things that you hear and they don't really stick because you don't know what was really meant by them. Well, yeah, so a lot of sayings and things started to come around for me. And as I dove more into spiritual law, I realized I had a friend that was trying to tell me about this back in, I want to say it was about 2016, 17. And I didn't dismiss her. I listened to what she said, but I know as she went through all of it about manifesting and the law of attraction and affirmations, and her mirror was covered in affirmations, as she went through it, I understood some of it. I resonate there. And then some of it, I was like, I don't really understand. She was talking about twin flames, and at the time I didn't understand about twin flames, but I was still open-minded to it. And I'd like to think that she's one of the people that definitely planted a seed, because when it all came flooding back, that female, one of my best friends growing up, I remember she's the one, she said that to me first about like law of attraction. And again, I was open to it, but it wasn't time. It's time. Later, fast forward about 2020-ish, I discovered Abraham Hicks. And when I say she, I'm sorry, not Abraham. Abraham is not the she. Abraham is the higher vibrational world, the spiritual realm. Abraham represents the spiritual realm. But when I heard Esther Hicks presenting at her seminar on a video, it resonated. Like I heard the words, I remembered, I comprehended, I felt it. I know what they're talking about. And I love the fact that I understood. She put it in a way that I understood. And again, all of the things that people have said along the years came flooding back. And I realized, yes, all of my creation has been within my making. You know, everything that's gone right, everything that's gone wrong in my life, it's all of my own doing. And I love the fact that that is the fact. I love the fact that I have that power over my world. I create my own existence, and I love it. You create your own existence every minute. And so as we delve further into the law of attraction later on, we'll get into how that's even possible. Oh, you know, I didn't ask for this, I didn't ask for that, but I can't do it how Abraham does it, but I'll do it how Dolo does it. And if it hits, if you resonate with my words, mission accomplished. I just want to help you along your journey where I can, if I can. I am now a master manifester. I have so many stories I can share. I have so many experiences. I have so many experiences that have happened, and I'm really sad that there are certain things that did happen over time, and they were so miraculous and so instant and so last minute that I didn't even there's no record of it, only me experiencing it, and I can't even remember the details. But when I say that the universe proves time and time again that I'm not alone, that I am supported, that I am important, and that I'm deserving and worthy, all I can say is try it. Try it out if you're interested. If you feel like you're at rock bottom and you don't have anything else to do and you've tried other things and I guess there's nothing wrong with what they're saying, yeah, give it a go. See if it works for you. But you need to give it an actual wholehearted go. Give it a chance. Don't just say I'm going to do it and then second guess it the whole time, because that's a part of what keeps us from manifesting physically what we are believing in our heads when it's a positive thing, when it's something that we're not used to seeing around us, when it's something that we half-heartedly believe, when our energy is split. That is when we do not manifest the greatness that we could be manifesting. But I will tell you, as someone who has manifested the best experiences and brought wonderful, beautiful life into this physical world, and I'm not just talking about my kids, to being someone who has manifested some of the most disgusting circumstances, and I used to say, yeah, well, that's just life, before realizing that's not just life. I'm controlling it, you're controlling it, do what you do. So in any case, The Road Less Traveled is a channel about support, spiritual support, sharing stories, encouragement, growth, self-development, self-improvement, self-love, and again, translation of spiritual law as far as I understand it. If I can help, I will. That being said, welcome, like, share, subscribe. I also offer other services on my Patreon, again, linked below. Go ahead and take a look at that and see if you can find a service that works for you. In the meantime, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming. And I'm so excited to relaunch this channel for 2024 because I feel it in my spirit. So, like, share, subscribe, return for the next video, because in the next video we're going to be specifically addressing topics. This was just an initial skim over, a relaunch to the channel, let you know why I'm here, who I am, and my experiences having lived this life for at least 3 decades is what we'll say. At least 3 decades. So I've lived quite a bit, and my experience is not your experience. There is no right, there is no wrong. I'm not better than anyone, and I don't think anyone's better than me, okay? It's just us sharing, caring, living this life, and continuously expanding to the best of our abilities. I would like to expand with you, and I would like you to expand with me. So join me. And something you'll hear me say often at the end of my episodes, it's a catchphrase I came up with, that I believe in. It's near and dear to me. And that is, real ones, stay real, be great. Don't accept the hate, and never surrender to the pretender. I say that because, yeah, we all know this world is an illusion, and most of us are out here pretending. But at the end of the day, it's only source energy displaying itself in different ways. We're all just down here playing a game at the end of the day. So, again, do what you do. Do what feels right to you. And if you want gain, growth, expansion, love, peace, joy, mercy, stick around, because that is all located down the road less traveled. Yeah, it's not traveled often. It's not a popular road, but it has great gains if you decide you want to go. So, real ones, stay real, be great. Don't accept the hate, and never surrender to the pretender. I am Dolo, your spiritual assistant, and that's a wrap for the first episode of The Road Less Traveled, Manifestation, and I'm back. Here we're going to dive into ourselves, okay? I have learned that I am my best ally. I am my best ally. I have more information than I could ever get from anywhere else. I know what I need to know. It's just a matter of stopping and listening to my inner being to figure out what's next. And there's always a next. There's always a next. The question is, are you going to create what's coming next, or are you going to wait for the gust of it and just kind of blow along with it? I like to say I'm with the wind. It's because I'm kind of a gypsy, a hippie, LaRue, just kind of, I'm a nomad. I'm one of those people. I'm here one day, I'm gone the next. It just is what it is. Dolo, Virgo life. It's what I do. That being said, life has a lot to offer. This world has so much to offer. And I realized I can say I'm with the wind because I am always everywhere. I feel like I'm everywhere. Source is within me, God is within me, the universe is inside of me. Okay, and I'm everywhere. But that being said, I don't I don't ride the gust of the wind. Okay, I'm usually the force of the wind because again, source is in me. So if I were to ride the gust, it's just a matter of reacting to everything that's going on around me. And one thing that I realized once I started on my personal journey of being a better me is that I was a big reactor. I didn't wake up and intend for anything to happen per se. I woke up and yes, I dove right back into yesterday's thoughts, yesterday's feelings, the things I was upset about, not remembering that every day is a new opportunity, that every day I wake up, my mind is clear for takeoff, and the way that Esther Hicks explains it, Abraham, is that we do have a momentum in our mind based on what we give our attention to, based on the things we say. Our words are so powerful, based on how we feel and what we believe, because we keep thinking and saying and feeling the same things, recycling the thoughts. Once I realized that I do have an option to control that, I realized, yes, you do wake up and you either dive right back into what you were doing or you start talking about something new. And usually I was diving back in and I was around people that just like to stay, just stagnant. Oh, this happened and this is what we're going to focus on for the rest of our lives. I know a lot of those people and I truly never desired to be one. I was getting closer and closer to being one, just harping on everything that had happened and what I wanted to do, but I couldn't because so-and-so. Oh, the blame game. The blame game. We've all been there. I had to address a lot of bad habits and outgrow things that I had grown into. Things I had learned along the way that I didn't need to keep. They were not serving me. So part of this journey, I've realized I do like to share and I love to help. I love to give back. If you will, take part in my videos, take part in my services, interact with me. We'll grow greater together. I look forward to this journey. You can sign up for a constant communication where I'm sending you encouraging words and phrases and reminders every day to you personally, because sometimes we do need that. We need someone on us every day, just reminding us we are great, we have purpose, we're going to head somewhere. And I mean someone aside from ourselves, because that's where it's always going to start, with ourselves. So you wake up and you make yourself believe how great of a person you are. If you're not feeling that right now, just start with something really small that you do know is pretty darn good about you. Just one little small thing's all you need. And you will build off of that. You will build off of it. Just keep saying it out loud. And even if you don't initially believe it, you can be someone that doesn't believe it. It will eventually start sticking. Just say it anyway. You're also programming your subconscious mind to love you, just as you've programmed your subconscious mind to not love you or to not believe in you based on what others say or what you've watched in your experience, the things you've seen, okay? That's another big one I had to learn along the way, that observing this world does not necessarily mean I have to cooperate or interact with what I'm observing. And that takes practice, because obviously there's a lot to observe, and especially if you've been given the gift of sight and hearing, you can hear and see a lot, and it's not always pleasing, it's not always clear, it's not always anything you want to be a part of. But that is why we have the option of focusing. We can focus where we want, we can manifest what we want based on where we focus. It is well within your hands. What are you focusing on? When you wake up every day and you decide what's happening, are you deciding based on something that already happened, something you may not have even been pleased with? Or are you deciding based on what you see for your life next, where you see yourself going, what the next building block is? I know a lot of human beings get in the habit of just saying things and not actually following through, or saying it and following through for a while. Speaking of, we're approaching a new year, and I know there's going to be a lot of people making resolutions, and there's going to be a lot of people following through, a lot of people not believing in their own resolution, and a lot of people knowing full and well that they're going to do it for the first week and then quit it because that's what they keep telling themselves in their minds. And they're not ready to change it, obviously. Nothing wrong with that, but that's where they are on their journey. And again, this journey's not linear. It's not going straight. You're not learning and then this is next, and you just keep going the way it's supposed to, check, check, check. It is figuring out what works for you, learning, relearning, unlearning, and just navigating this physical world as much as you possibly can, as well as you can. Now, I do a lot of navigating with spiritual guidance now. I've learned to listen to my intuition, to listen to my guides, to tap into source, to meditate. I do a lot of meditating. I need to do much more, truthfully, but that is where it starts, quieting your mind and getting in tune with yourself, aligning with your inner being, aligning with what's inside, what feels right to you. Not what you've heard, not what your life has been, not what has proven to be right in the past, but what feels right at that moment. Because again, it's not linear. And what didn't feel right to you yesterday or 10 years ago might feel perfect to you today, because it's time. It's just a matter of navigating, listening to your guides, listening to yourself, and getting where you need to be gradually. It goes back to what I was saying about having heard things before and it didn't stick the first time, but there was a seed planted, and later, the branches, they all kind of intertwined. The little seed grew up, and the branches that were already up here may have dropped their leaves, but now the seed and the branches are growing together. Everything just gets better when you give it a chance. When you give it a chance to grow, and when you get out of your own way. I was in my own way a lot. And so once I realized that I was in control of this picture, I was directing this movie, I was painting on the easel, I was singing the song. Once I realized that I had the power, genuinely, it's just really been a wrap. I'm unstoppable. I am greatness. I am who I need to be, and so are you. You just gotta believe. You gotta stick to it. Follow your truth always. In turn, this channel is for those who are looking to live more intentionally. You'll hear me quote some things, and I don't always know who said it. And sometimes I may know who said it, but it's a little iffy in my head. Because a lot of quotes, you'll hear so-and-so said it, but come to find out it was actually a philosopher prior to so-and-so. And a lot of times, the credit for me is just, I like the credit. I want my credit. I will give credit where I know it's actually due. But in the meantime, just know it's either I said it or I didn't say it. So there's this quote, and I didn't say it. Change is the only thing that's guaranteed in life. And it's true. It's true. If you think about it, everything's going to keep changing continuously. Set aside what man does. So like the buildings and foods and things changing every day. Set that aside. The trees will change every day. They have leaves, they don't have leaves. The leaves are getting bigger, the leaves are dropping off, the leaves are non-existent. They have flowers, they don't have flowers. They have seeds, they don't have seeds. They have fruits, they don't have fruits. Long story short, it's never going to stay the same. The trees or the weather or growth in general. Babies grow. Animals grow. We all start somewhere, we grow, and then we end somewhere, as far as this physical realm is concerned. So thinking about that theory, the fact that you have to grow regardless, we always grow, we've been growing. Think about the pictures you see of you when you were a kid. Might not even remember being in that body, but you were, and you were a lot smaller. Do you remember the moment you got from there to where you are now? Probably not. So that being said, growth, change is going to be continuously. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will continue to grow. Physically in this world, always. Now, growing your spirit is an option. Expanding your spiritual well-being is an option. Okay, and it's sad, but you can stay stagnant for long periods of time. I personally don't like to stay stagnant on time. I'm a mover, I'm a go-getter, I'm a hustler. And I don't mean that like in a way that I'm always chasing the bag. That's not what I mean. The bag is nice. I get the bag, but I don't chase the bag. I call the bag in. I call the bag in. It's more so about me wanting to get the most out of this world, the most out of this life, the most I can experience. I've always been someone, I don't have an exact checklist, but if I hear or see something that I think is pretty amazing, I'm like, hey, I want to do that. And then I do it. That's me. Ask anyone who knows me, that's what I do. I see what I want to do, and I do it. I am a being that embraces change. I embrace growth. I embrace expansion, and I want more always. Now, when you grow, there's always growing pains. There's always, it's new. It's growth. It's always new. And so that being said, when you get to a place where you recognize you are no longer the same, it can be scary. And you have an option of either turning back and running back, trying to run back to who you used to be, which you actually can't do. You can't go backwards. You can't go back there ever. So you're either someone that is fighting yourself changing, standing in your own way from what you are becoming, or you're someone that embraces it and brings it in and gets more. One of my mottos, always more, never less. And that's because I realize at this point, whether or not I'm using the knowledge that I've gathered on this earth, I've gathered so much knowledge and I can't give it back now. There's nothing I can do with it except to have it. I can't give the knowledge back. I can't go back to where I was. I can't be less knowledgeable. I can never be less knowledgeable. There will always be more. And that's the beautiful thing about this world, about this universe. There is always more. It's always expanding. There's always resources, regardless of what man will tell you in society. There's always more. And it's empowering and invigorating once you get to another area that you didn't realize was so deep. They're all deep. All of the areas, all of the topics on this earth are deep, whether you're into it or not. Shoe shining is a deep world, I'm sure. And I don't know anything about shoe shining, except you get a rag and you get a shoe and it shines after you buff it a little bit. You know, it's shoe shining. But if I wanted to get into shoe shining, I would realize there are different kinds of shines to use, different ways to store the shines, different ways to make the shines. They last for different lengths of period, different shines for different textures. You know, I'm sure there's a whole plethora of information on shoe shining that I would never have given a second thought to because I don't want to shine anyone's shoes. And I don't want to shine my own shoes. But that's just because it's not my interest. It doesn't make it any less important. It doesn't make it, irrelevant. It doesn't make it relevant. It's just an option in this world. It is another option. We have so many options available to us, and that's where focus comes in. You can focus anywhere you want. You can focus on the things happening to the people around you. This happened to them. This is terrible. You can either stay there and focus. You can harp and trauma bond with them forever on what happened, reiterating it every year with an anniversary, keeping it alive in your energy, in your vibration, in your spirit, never having space for something there because you have something there already. If that's what you decide to do, that is your option. And it can change at any moment because this is not a linear experience. This does not happen in a specific order. It happens the way you depict it happening, but it can happen in any order. And that's where timelines come in. You can quantum leap to another timeline. I've done that. I've done it a few times. It's pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. Speaking of, I should probably go ahead and memorialize it now. This is where I used to live. It was great when I lived here. It was cozy, it was useful, it was beautiful, and my neighbors were pretty low-key for the most part. But I knew it was temporary when I moved in, and it served its purpose right before we got to where we actually wanted to be. Please view my old townhome. I wasn't an owner here. I was a renter, and this is the townhome. Not that you can get the whole picture, but yeah, this is where I used to live, and it was nice while it lasted. Why did I do that, you ask? So, I'm not going to dive into it in this episode. Again, this is just sort of an overview, a relaunch, let you know what I'm all about, see if you can tolerate listening to me, because you got to be able to listen to me if you're going to watch my channel. So, I do want to say, though, when it comes to quantum leaping and vision work, I've done the most. I've done the very most. I've experienced the most. And when I say, experience, if at this moment I decided I didn't want to be on this earth anymore, trust me, I've had enough. I have lived this life. I'm so glad, because my goal in this physical world is to get the most out of it and to give the most out of it to the best of my ability. So that being said, yeah, I do that. That's what I do before I go ahead and quantum leap into my new home. And I've done that about 3-4 times, where I pretty much, I'm envisioning, I know where I'm going, I know what I want, I've already put it out there to the universe, and so it's time to live as if I'm there. And that's what I do. I usually start packing up. I got some boxes here, but I wasn't exactly packing them. That's just coincidental. There wasn't enough space here, so I did have some things still in boxes the whole time I lived here, because there wasn't enough storage when I lived here. But anyway, that's why I do that. It is a proven technique, proven to me. Don't need to prove it to anyone else, but if you want to prove it to yourself, try it. Again, I'll get into details later on in other episodes, but the fact is you can visualize yourself out of a place. You can continue to speak on it, and based on how you've presented that idea to your subconscious, based on how much you've reiterated it, if you've reiterated it, you don't necessarily have to reiterate, But if you have, and how often you have, and what you've said, and how much of it has turned into a belief based on how many times you thought it and said it. It is a practice. It is a practice. There are many techniques to get things done, but what it comes down to is what you are feeling, what you are believing in here. What you believe, what you feel in here is what is making up your vibration. And again, that comes in with repeated thoughts. What are you thinking about? What are you focusing on? And with the power of your words. Your words are powerful. Your words are powerful. And even though more effect comes from the intention behind your words, at the end of the day, your words are still powerful, especially when you know what you intended by using those words. Yes? So, here on the road less traveled, I want to encourage you to speak life into yourself and to others at all times. And the more life you speak, the more of a momentum you have going of speaking life, and the more you feel, believe, and change about your experience according to how you want it. So yeah, believe in yourself. Say what you want to happen next. Don't just go out and react to everything, and make it happen, because this world is your oyster. You create your world. You create your life. A good way to look at it, there are so many good analogies that I have heard from Abraham Hicks. I love a lot of the analogies, but it also helps me to come up with my own, really. I love the metaphors that Abraham Hicks gives. Sometimes having that visual does make it easier for you. And so, yeah, sometimes I'll use ones that she's given or Esther has given. Sometimes I'll give you ones that I made up myself. But in any case, Abraham uses this metaphor when it comes to radio stations and how you can only listen to what's being broadcasted on your station. If you're tuned into this station, you hear what's being broadcasted on that station. You're not going to hear what's down on that other station. Usually, I mean, sometimes you get interference, but usually you're not going to hear what's on another station because you are tuned into this one here. And that's the same thing with your focus. But another analogy that I have for it, or another metaphor, would be imagining that you are watching a TV. You're watching a TV. I mean, think about it. A lot of the experiences that shake us up or have us unhappy, unpleased, displeased, a lot of the times it's things that happen to other people around us. It's things that we maybe start to fear could happen to us. And depending on when you were raised, which generation you were raised in, some of us were pretty much taught to always prepare for the worst. I was raised by almost a survivalist. And so while I learned a lot of skills, at the same time, I had this fear of an impending doom that frankly wasn't coming for me. It was never coming for me. It was never coming for me. Okay? It was never coming for me. It wasn't looking for me. It was not after me. Okay? I saw it in other people's lives, but once I realized, more about the law of attraction and the law of assumption, the law of duality, like once I started to dive into universal law, I realized those people are bringing their results just like I'm bringing my results. And when I moved a certain way, I got certain results. When I changed the way I move, I got different results. That being said, we are where we need to be. You feel me? I'm going to stay on this road, the road less traveled, but I look forward to seeing you. I see people all the time on this road, beautiful, amazing people, inspiring, motivational people. And yes, consider me to be your buddy in the spiritual realm on that unfrequented, quiet, sometimes dark road. Find me, your spiritual assistant, Dolo. I'm here. You're here. Let's do this together. Let's grow. Let's advance. Let's expand in the physical world together. I love you. If no one else does, I love you. Thank you for coming. Like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you next time on the road less traveled. Real ones. Stay real. Be great. Don't accept the hate. And never surrender to the pretender. Dolo out.